This is Global Study Talks, the podcast of educations.com. Welcome to Global Study Talks. In this conversation today we're going to talk about sports and education and how you can combine those two. And that's why here we are with two former student athletes. That's how we can call you?
Yeah.
Welcome Linus and welcome Andrea.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. And we're going to talk about this because there are a lot of students that are interested in studying abroad, but they also have this, we can call it a gift, talent, or something like this, that they are really good at sports. And they might be interested in using that as a way to study in the US or in Canada. So I want to know, how's your experience with that? I will start one by one because this time we are used to have one guest per episode, and this time we're opening the house to more people, which I love. So I will also take this opportunity to talk about two different experiences. It's not the same probably to be a woman than to be a man in this sports world, or yes, you're going to tell me. But I will start with you, Andrea. So welcome again. And how come that you decided to go from Europe to the US?
Thank you. Yeah. So basically, I knew pretty early on in high school that I wanted to go to the US in some sort of way for my studies. My mom did an exchange year in high school, but I didn't want to leave soccer behind. And then I came in contact with Keystone, and they actually helped me over and gave me the idea of college sports, where you can combine studies and your sport at a very high level. So that was my main reason.
Which was your level here? Because I'm thinking a lot of people play soccer or football, like a lot of us call it.
Yeah.
But I mean, not all of us are ready to go because of a sport skill. Which is the level you have to have?
It's very, very different. I played at U19 Allsvenskan, which is the highest level for youth sports
in
Sweden. But there are student athletes that go from Division 7 to Allsvenskan. So there's really level for everyone depending on what your goal is with the experience, I would say.
Yeah.
What about your experience?
Yeah, I did not go with Keystone. First of all, I used another agency, but feel like there's a reason why I decided to work here, right? And it was because I had friends who did this with Keystone, and they were really happy with their help. So that was a big reason to why I decided to work here now.
We will get back to Keystone later because we're going to help you, of course, to see how you can do that while you're listening. But I wonder in the beginning, like how you started with this idea. Like Andrea said, like she also wanted to go to the US in the first place. What about you?
So for me, it was not that clear. I didn't really have it as my main plan in the beginning, but I saw someone from my team who did it, and that inspired me a little bit.
So from the sports world came the education.
Exactly. So I always had this thing in the back of my mind that I, no matter what, wanted to continue studying, and I wanted to continue studying right away after high school. And started to realize, as I got older, that this is going to be quite difficult to do here in the team that I'm playing on right now. They were basically pretty clear saying that, here, if you go to the first team, it's all in for the soccer or football.
Are you playing right now?
Yeah, but not at a high level anymore. Not at a high level anymore. But back then, they I realized there was like this thing where you had to decide. Either you go all in for the studies in Sweden, or you go all in for the soccer and sports.
And do you have to decide where is your main goal, if it's in studies or if it's in sports, or you can blend both?
That's the charm in the US, I would say, because like you introduced us, you're really called a student athlete in the US because you're doing both at the same time, and one doesn't trump the other. Of course, the coaches need you and want you to be successful in school, but the coaches also want you to be successful on the field, and the professors help you with that as well. So if you have an exam scheduled the same day as a game, the school actually has to give you an option to take the exam a different day.
Okay.
Which in Sweden, you didn't really have that option. If you had an exam the day after a game, at 8 in the morning and you came home at 10 or 11, you still had to be there at 8 and perform in the classroom. So I think that challenge is something that was made it clear to me that the US was a good place to be, to combine both.
Interesting. So we can say that that is maybe the best choice for people that are really into sports but don't want to leave the studies behind. I think that there is a very typical thing at certain age where in other countries you have to decide, you know, you cannot take both.
Yeah.
And what about the other students that you were studying with you, like the other student athletes that you were with?
Yeah. Like the reason why they went.
No, or what was the relationship with others? I guess it's not the same being in Sweden and being maybe the only one in your high school class that is also going for sports than being in the university where a lot of people are athletes.
Yeah, I think the school I graduated from, 85% of the students were student athletes. So it's a very big sports school. So all of us were kind of in the same situation and could relate to each other with the reason we were there. So it built a sense of community as well. People loved sports. We came to each other's games, competitions. We would support each other there. And then also understand that if we had project in school, that we had certain hours we weren't available because of sports. So I think the community was a big thing. And you met people from all over the country in the US, but also all over Europe, South America, Australia. I had a teammate from Japan one year.
Wow.
So it's culture are just combined from all over the place.
Yeah. And I think a good example of, you know, all the different nationalities and stuff is when I went my freshman year, I came into the locker room and I just saw, you know, people from everywhere pretty much. And my coach told me we had 13 different nationalities on the team. So yeah.
One team, 13 nationalities.
Exactly. So not even enough to put everyone on the field at the same time, right?
That's so interesting because I think it is one of the things that people that study abroad look for the most. You know, it's like the connection with other people from the world, not only from the US, but everywhere. But let's go a little bit more deeper into education, right? Because we talk about sports. Now we need to talk about education. So what did you study? We can start with you, Linus. And where?
So when I started, I intended to graduate in finance. That was my main goal. I had nothing else in mind, was studying economics, as we call it in Sweden, in high school. But what's pretty cool in the US is that you can actually switch. You don't need to decide. You can actually decide once you're there as well. So I did a semester. I liked it, but found it quite difficult, and also realized I enjoyed business a lot. So in the end, I graduated in international business.
And where did you do the first part?
So
and the second part.
Okay, so I started my journey in a state called Idaho, at a university called Northwest Nazarene University, and then 2 years in, I decided to go to California. And studied California Baptist University in Riverside there.
Where you finished your bachelor.
Exactly.
And what about you?
So I studied something very differently. And I think that's also something that's good. I mean, like universities in Sweden, you can study literally anything in the US. But I studied natural science in high school, and I've always been interested in that field. So I graduated with a bachelor in biology, and then I also added a minor in chemistry, which is kind of a specialization of some sort, you can say. You don't really have minors in Sweden, but it's basically a biochemistry bachelor. And I started my degree in Kansas at a school called Newman University, where I did 1 year, and then I transferred as well to a school in South Carolina called Limestone University.
Was it hard to change team? I mean, I understand it's not that hard to change the career if you're liking something more, but what about the team you're leaving behind? Was it hard or not?
It was hard with all the friends, of course. You kind of came to a place where you didn't know what to expect 100%, but you went from a place where you had found really good friends. So in that sense, it was hard, but on the other side, like I found really good friends in California as well. I was at a wedding just the other week.
Okay.
In Spain.
So
actually.
friendship remains.
Exactly. So it was funny. It was one teammate of mine, and then there was one girl from the women's soccer team. So they got married, and I met all these people that I hadn't seen in a lot of years. So I've made some good friends in California as well. I'm not going to complain about that.
Interesting. I know you mentioned it. What's the difference between the teams, like in the women team and the men team? Did you find like a lack of connection between both or not, or the country, or how is it compared to Sweden? Can you say something about that?
I think we had better relationships in the US between the women's and men's team. We would do things after game days. Like I mentioned earlier, we would go watch each other's games. We even traveled to like different schools to watch our men's team play when they played a big game and they needed support from fans. And we train at the same time as the men. I still play at home, and we train at the same time as the men sometimes, but I barely know anyone's names.
Okay,
and
here in Sweden.
Here in Sweden. And
so
in the US,
more,
some of them are still like really good friends of mine.
Interesting. Can you say something about it, or you didn't notice anything?
No.
Maybe you didn't pay attention.
No, of course, no. But you're really closer, and that's not only with the women's soccer team. It's with every team.
Like volleyball, golf, lacrosse.
Did you go to see these sports as well?
Yeah. So that's a very cool thing that you get to experience a lot of other sports, and some sports in Sweden do not have the same level. For example, like basketball.
Yeah.
I don't think I've never been to a basketball game before, and then I come there and it's like...
It's the US.
Yeah, exactly. So baseball, another example, right?
Yeah.
So it was really fun to also see all these different sports and get
We even had like a bowling team at my first school.
A bowling team?
Yeah.
Professional one?
Like they competed in bowling against other schools.
Okay.
So there's so many sports, like Linus mentioned. There's like esports. You can go for cheerleading and like sports that you wouldn't think you'd compete in the same extent as like soccer, because soccer is a big sport here in Sweden too.
So you can ask for a scholarship, for example, to compete in bowling.
Yeah.
Is that possible? Okay, let's move to scholarships and let's move to Keystone Sports, because you're both now working in Keystone Sports. You came from the experience of living it yourself to the moment of helping others to do the same. How was that? I mean, to be on the other side of the situation, and what can you share with our audience in terms of, maybe you can encourage our audience to apply for this if they are good enough.
Yeah. No, but I remember like just starting here. The reason that I wanted to do it was because I wanted to have other kids who were in the similar situation as as I was to actually be able to experience this, because I know it was such a great adventure, and I know there are so many kids that are afraid of taking the step. Some of them might not even know about it, and some might not know how good it is. So that was my main motivation in the beginning, and then it's so cool to actually be able to help them, and you get these really nice messages from people that you started off by just texting them, having a small talk, and then they're over in the US experiencing a new dream of theirs. So in that sense, really cool to be on the other side of this as well.
But let's start from the beginning if someone is interested. So if you are a practitioner of any sports, literally?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Well, but soccer or football, tennis, for example, individual sports also are okay.
Yeah, track and field, swimming. There are so many sports you can do it, and then obviously the opportunities are different. I would say me as a girl and Linus as a guy, even the experience for us in the same sport is different because of a rule called Title IX in the US.
Okay.
Which is, I think, a very good thing. It's an equality rule. It's a law that tells you that guys and girls should have equally amount of resources. And for example, say that a school has American football with 100 guys on the team. It's quite a lot of resources.
Makes sense.
So then if you have 8 teams on the men's side and 8 teams on the women's side, for example, I'm just spitting out numbers, and you have more guys on the men's football team, there's more money that has to be fit into these 8 teams with less players. So it can actually be beneficial as a girl for once in the sports industry to go to the US.
Good.
Yes.
Nice to know. This is a really good tip. So there is advantage somewhere in the world for us. Good. No, but I think it is interesting to think, okay, we have the sports, we can pick our sport, the one we're practicing, and then we check for universities, or that's what Keystone Sports do for you.
You can do your own research a little bit. You can figure out like what areas would be of interest for you and what schools might be cool for us to look out for. But in general, it's we that have that conversation with the schools, and I'm sure we know way more schools than most of our students do and have better contacts with them. So my advice is always to be open-minded. Don't close yourself on 5 schools. Like,
it's not that I like this school. You have to
be open, because you're gonna notice that there are so many good schools that will fit you very well and that you're gonna have a great time at. So.
And that's something that's really important to me too. I think, like Linus mentions, there are schools that Harvard, the big like Ivy League schools, very good educations. But for me, it was also important to get an education that I could use back home in Sweden or in Europe in general. And that's also something that we at Keystone Sports help guide the students. Because if you perform well at a school in the US within a degree that's transferable to Europe, you can even go to university and do your master's, for example, in Europe, which is something that I focused on too.
Are you going to do your master in Europe?
Yeah, that was something I really wanted to be able to do when I went over. It was a big thing for me to perform for soccer, but also to get good grades, so I would still have that door when I came back home.
Interesting. And which type of scholarships can the universities give to students, to student athletes? I mean, which was your case, and what, apart from your personal case, what can people find in this way? Because I think a lot of our audience is interested, of course, in how to pay for this. US is very expensive. We all know this. So how can that be done?
So first of all, like, there are tons of scholarships. You can get scholarships for a lot of stuff, a lot of random stuff as well. But some of them are very small. So they're like the 3 main ones that we focus on are athletic scholarships. So that's depending on how good you are within your sport, simply. Academic ones, sorry. And those are depending on your level of studies, right? And how good you do on some tests that you're supposed to take, but also how well you did in school.
In high school.
Yeah, exactly. And then lastly, some schools are offering really big international scholarships as well. So those are the 3 main ones that we focus on and help you in getting to cut the costs of the school.
And schools work very differently. Some have only 2 of them. Some have only 1 of them. Some have, like Linus mentioned, completely different ones. You can get scholarships for food, for housing.
You can have multiple of them together.
Yeah, most of the time. Some schools only allow you to have 1, but so it's very school to school. And that's also where we come in to help guide you through the jungle of
it's like a jungle, right?
It kind of is.
Yeah, definitely. It's so overwhelming, all the information. And what are the things that the university already includes with these tuition fees or these scholarships that they give?
So when we talk about it, we not only focus on going to the actual school and that tuition, we also focus on like housing, because you need somewhere to stay, right? You
can't live at home anymore.
But the school is usually providing this, so that's a pretty good thing that is included within the scholarships. And then also when it comes to food, right? That's also something you
also need to eat, yes. Especially if you're an athlete, you need to.
Exactly.
I mean, everyone. But
and then everything that has to do with the sport. So like many people, they just think that we would help them to find a school, get into a university like you would in Sweden. But here is a full package, You're getting all of those things included within that one cost. So many times this is actually cheaper than it is to study in Sweden as well.
Okay, that's interesting.
And I think also what's with that, the housing is often at the school, so you also live with your teammates and the other students and student athletes. And I think that's part of why you get so close with the people as well. I mean, people become like your siblings.
Family, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you are in another place of the world, not even in Europe, can you contact Keystone Sports? to get some help with this, or is it just in this continent?
Of course.
Of course you
yeah,
can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can contact us from wherever. We've helped people from
Australia, Qatar, South Africa,
yeah,
Iceland.
yeah, tons and tons of countries. So if you want to become maybe the first one from your country, don't be afraid. You can reach out to us as well, and we're more than happy to help. Although we've helped obviously more people in Europe, we're more than happy to help pretty much from whatever country you come from.
That's interesting to know, because I guess that, maybe you have people around that went and did this experience, so you have a first-hand, experience telling you what happened. But sometimes in some countries, it looks so far away, it looks so hard to be done, and maybe it's not as hard, or I don't know.
Exactly. You need a helping hand. I'd say it's so difficult to do yourself. Everything that has to come with scholarships, that has to do with what school should I look for,
But also the paperwork. So you have to go through visa, school applications. There's a lot after choosing where you want to go that has to be logistically done. And that's also something that we help with. And I know you mentioned that it's nice to work with someone that has done the whole experience themselves. And we actually, all of us that work at Keystone Sports, we have been in the US as student athletes. So if you work with us, you can be reassured that we all have our own stories and experiences that we use to guide others.
And I can see you recommend experience, right?
I mean, yeah.
I have the feeling that you're kind of happy with it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Of course, it sounds super, super good. So yeah, thank you so much for being here in Global Study Talks. And please, if you want to say something else to our audience, for example, how to find you.
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram, social media. The easiest might be just to go on our website. Maybe you can do a cool thing
Of
like
course.
KeystoneSports.com.
Right here.
Yeah, and just fill out the contact form there, and we'll reach out as soon as we can to look at your possibilities of becoming a student athlete.
Thank you, Linus. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much for
much.
having us.
See you in the next episode of Global Study Talks. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Global Study Talks. If you are interested in studying abroad, check out educations.com and get all the help you need in every part of your study abroad journey. See you next time!